why you're a crack in the matrix and a threat to the Masons. I did that for the rhymes. Yay. But really, the reason why you're a crack in the matrix and the threat to the Masons is because when you're on seed retention, you're nurturing that aggression. It is not only the cutting off of the porn addiction and masturbation, but more precisely, the the seed retention, the semen retention, because I, I quite a few years back, I had a girlfriend that I had for like 4 years, and I recall like when I was having sexual intercourse, and I remember what kind of mentality and what kind of impact uh, the sexual intercourse itself had on my mentality, because at at those times when I was having a sexual intercourse with with that woman, I was more going into this I was going into this mode, change of mode, really, in mentality, because I was, you know, not only right after the sexual intercourse, but like at that time when I was when I had that partner, and I was regularly busting nuts, and I was more craving those motherly, or I was more craving like those mother-like nurturing feelings, so that like lovey-dovey kind of more those feelings of the softer kinds of feelings and sentiments, and I craved those mother-like nurturing feelings from a woman more, like, even though I was getting those, I was more craving more and more of those things. And it is not to say that these are bad, like, but in the context of building a family, those can be good. And you may have heard of the hormonal changes when a male becomes a father to a baby, that his hormones do change. And change that change means becoming a father would mean that your testosterone and androgen, those two or three types of all the male hormones will go down. and well, like I said in the title of this video, you already know that I would say maybe 95% or 97% of all the population is has no knowledge of seed retention, or even if they do have some knowledge of this seed retention, they're not practicing it. So it is not to become condescending or anything, but that is a fact that most of the population is not practicing this semen retention. And so essentially people become docile, more docile. Men become more docile and easy to control, and because the lack of aggression, and more being compliant to whatever they're told to do, if you get what I mean. So you know how the system works. You know how the system of this world, this current world works. It is a people, um, it is a people that are actually in control. They make the rules. They make many rules and many law enforcements, and well, in some sense, it is within the providence of God that there are law enforcements and police and all the system that that is and all the core values that are behind and that are under the current law systems and government and stuff like that. But in some other sense, it is a corrupt world, and it is run by the devil himself, as it is written in the Bible. The Prince of Darkness is Prince of Darkness has much power indeed. So that is why um, we need to try to talk to God more often and take more time in meditation in the Word of God and all that. And anyways, you are a crack in the matrix. You are sort of like, you are bothering. So maybe your soul existence can be very bothering to really the people up there, like people who are actually in control, and they want to make the system as stable as possible. And stability is good, like, but it depends on the situation, man, right? You know what kind of injustice it is, how much rampant the injustice is in this current world. You already know that, right? Like, especially looking back in the COVID times, you know about the injustices and the things that make absolutely no sense, and those some of the rules and law enforcements, those were just those were just burdens upon all the people and all the populations. And because just because of the fact that, like I have already said, that 95 to 97% of, so basically basically the whole population is under control, and they're not exercising self-control that is optimal for, that is actually optimal for themselves. But they're doing just their people are doing good for their slave masters, really. I know this can be like a something very this may sound like a very extreme thing to say and just put into words, but it is what it is. Because it is also written in the scriptures that if you are bound to, if you are bound to sin, and that means you're slaves to sin. And that is how most people are just weaving their lifestyles, and how they're just living by every day. And you are, again, you are a crack in the matrix, because you're not following those rules necessarily. And I think that's really important, that, and also as men, we nurture that aggression. And that little story, when I, back like a 5 or 6 years, when I had that long-term girlfriend, and I was having sexual intercourse regularly, I was more craving that mother-like nurturing. and and I was craving more food, really. That is my honest account. um so basically, yeah, I was craving more food, and not even healthy food. I was craving more like dirty carbs, like pizza, and some all kinds of bread, and all kinds of noodles and bread, and some things you might call dirty carbs, not clean foods. I had more cravings of food that were not so much clean. And yeah, I wanted to be more comfortable. And another thing is, I was I was afraid of more things when I was wasting my semen. On This is my honest account, really. So the opposite of that would be, like, as for you and me, the opposite of that would be you will crave less food in general, and you will be more optimal to battle like situations. So you'll be more optimal to combat like situations. So like very um what would you say, like really situations where there's conflict. You will be more ready, you will be more combat ready when you retain your seed, because of that aggression and that mentality. Like this is like a beast like mentality, or like a predator like mentality, rather than a prey like mentality. In some sense, you will crave more combat, and you will crave more fight situations. Like, that is why, if you ever heard of that roid rage, like when people apply or just inject TRT or whatever kind of male hormone related stuff, that those anabolic stuff or whatnot. I do not really know the exact names of those injections, but like, you know what I mean, right? Those roid rages. That is, the rages come from the excessive amount of male hormones, right? So like, it is neither a good or bad thing, but it just solely depends on how you are going to work with that excessive amount of aggression and energy. That's what matters, man. Like, if you don't get yourself in trouble and go to jail, stuff like that, like you can put those excessive amount of energy. It's quite obvious, but you can put those excessive amount of energy into the gym, martial arts, making money and planning on making money, stuff like that, right? And yeah, you are just standing out, and that is not a good news for the people that are in control, so to speak, at this moment, because like I said, they want stability, and they want to maintain and just keep that status of being at the top. Like they want no one else to climb to the top necessarily. Like, it's like I might also liken this to a pro sport, like in the NBA in the 1990s, when the Chicago Bulls was reigning for like many consecutive years. And yeah, you could think of that as the same thing as how this world works. Yeah, the Chicago Bulls was reigning many years in a row, and these guys obviously did not want any other team to climb to the top, or just take their throne away. And you're never apt, or you're never in the optimal. You are never even close to being optimal to dethroning anyone and at the top of the throne, when you're just wasting your seed. Like, I have seen so many. I have seen just numerous accounts and stories and episodes and people telling their honest life stories, when how they just elevated and almost jumped and leaped in some stages of their lives when they were retaining their seeds. I these are these are stories from not even the YouTubers like myself that mainly talk about the retaining of seed. Some of these are from just bodybuilders, and one of them, because I am South Korean, I am more familiar to the South Korean bodybuilders, and one of them, he has like a 200K subscribers, and his name is Sungkook Kim, and he has once said that in this particular stage of his life, when and for your information, he's currently like 45 or 46 years old, and he was telling this story in his one of his YouTube videos. And he said, when he was retaining his seed 6 to 8 months when he was in his 20s, and he said that that time frame was when his squat, deadlift, and bench press was records was just leaping, just skyrocketing, really. So like, if you are already my subscriber, or if you're not, like if you're already my subscriber, you will just believe what I've just said, and just apply it to your own life. But even if you're just watching this by accident, which I don't think it's by accident, but still, like, this is no cap, man. Why would I? And really, yeah. So basically, you are a crack in the matrix, and that's a good thing, man. You gotta make yourself more. You gotta make yourself and put yourself in the most optimal position to possibly dethrone anyone that is currently on the throne. Like, so you're like this, yeah. Because I like to also watch the combat sport. Like, I can also liken this to a situation where you're the contender in the UFC. So like, just think of yourself as a boxer or a MMA fighter, and you're not a champion yet, so you're not on the throne yet, and you see the objective, like you see someone that's at the top right now. And if I were you, I would wish that, not only wish, but if I were you, I would want myself to be in that particular mental state and physical state where I am the most optimal to be able to put in those crazy amount of work and effort to be able to just dimorph, morph myself. Like, I don't know if that's the right word. Like, just to mold myself into that, whatever that I need to become, whatever I am not right now, and I need to become something different than what I am right now, to be able to dethrone anyone that is on the throne right now. So you need to be this sort of a rebel, and you need to be like like this young lion, right? You know, I think I've seen someone say, I forget his name. He's really big in podcasting. Fuck, I'm frustrated that I forget his name, but anyways, this guy, he's a white guy, and white American guy, and he said that the biggest difference in the modern times and the ancient times is that men in all of the countries in the world, we don't, so we no longer have any type of ceremony or any type of that examining of manhood, really. So there are lots of men that are like about my age or even older. Like, I am 29 years old, and you look at the modern times, you look at the time we live in right now, and people, men that are like in their even in their late 20s and 30s, and sometimes even men in their 40s, they look to just like it's not to say that it's bad to have any hobbies or anything like that, but you know, just putting in a lot of time in playing video games and things of that similar nature, and not really going after the things to better themselves. It's a shameful thing, but it is so common nowadays that people never people no longer feel ashamed, or like people no longer seem to feel ashamed or um, feel inadequate for being. It's something. It's a quite harsh thing to say, but being a useless beings. So we're not like the females. Females have the ability to bear children, so it's no problem for them. Like they can just put as much time as they want in just um looking at cosmetics and making themselves look better, look youthful and beautiful as they can. That's their thing. Like that's the women's thing. And so anyways, that is about it, man. Like, so the conclusion being, like, when you are retaining your seed purposely, like, you are definitely a crack in the matrix, and um, you are a threat. You are a threat to the Masons, really, the people that are thought to be in control of the system in this world. You are a threat to the kings and rulers of this world, really. In the more invisible world, you are already on their blacklist, so to speak. You are. This is really not to be self-conscious in any way. You are definitely, um, most likely, you are already a targeted individual, and just keep going on this journey, man. Never stop, never stop. Be strong, and I pray that you make yourself and you mold yourself into that ancient archetype, ancient warrior archetype. And also I pray for my country, man. I I would ask you to pray for my country and pray for East Asia, really. I think, like, at some at times I feel quite ashamed